all this money on the floor. We been falling off the course, we be really making plays. She don't really want no beef and she can't say it to my face. Girl, that man was never mine, I just was going through a phase. So please control your hoe before I put it in her place.
A soft, low sun settles high in the early afternoon over New Jump City. A place full of forward seekers, progress makers, and dream creators. And four such souls will be doing just that in front of your very eyes. Come forth and witness the chronicle, the tale of these Jump City Sirens. Good morning, afternoon, and or evening, ladies and those in between and beyond that binary of the internet. Welcome back to Let's Roleplay, and more specifically, welcome back to Jump City Sirens, our lovely little mass campaign. I am Foxy, heroes for the duration of stream, and I have with me a table full of wonderful people, forward-seeking heroes, incredibly fashionable individuals who have some things to say about the authority and the world around them. I could tell you all about their incredible abilities, wonderful powers, and the many issues of solo series they're going to have eventually when we get budget for spin-offs. But instead of doing that, I will let them tell you all about themselves. First up, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, it's Egg-chan.
Oh shit, hi, it's me, Emily, or Egg-chan, and tonight I'm playing as Tsuchi Chao, or number 5 from the Soldier Playbook. Little Dragon time.
Welcome back, 5. Good to have you. Up next, faster than a speeding train, it's Corndog McGraw.
That's not true. I don't even do cardio. Hey everyone, it's me, Corndog McGraw. I'll be playing Cleo, our beautiful banshee of the group.
Glad to have you back and on board, Banshee. Sliding up next. I used the tall buildings one already, didn't I? I forgot the other one. More powerful than a locomotive. It's Ollie Peach Senpai.
Oh, imagine me being powerful. Hi, I'm Molly Peach Senpai, and I'll be playing Morphine or Aurelia, the bitch, today.
That's the playbook, actually, if you were curious.
I want that Masks playbook!
On itch.io right now, actually, if you go look for it. Well, glad to have you back on board, Aurelia. And of course, last but certainly very far from least, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Meg Mysteria.
Hello, it is me, Meg and/or Meg Mysteria, and I'm playing Mel Dracos, otherwise known as Medusa, and she is the beacon.
Glad to have you back with the gang, Mel. And of course, if I haven't already mentioned it, folks, I'm Foxy. I use he, they pronouns, and I play everyone who's not these 4 people, which is very hard because they are very good at their jobs. Want to see how good? Well, I'll give you a moment and we'll get just there. But before we do that, let me tease you all out with a little bit of an intro, if that's okay. Where we last left our Sirens, they had departed the vaunted offices of one Nova Director-in-Chief Katrina Victory. The negotiation, if you can call whatever tense moment happened there, that, parted with an agreement. A bit of, let's say, autonomy given, or at least the freedom for the group to, with some conditions, interact with the young Grayson, who was held captive, or for study, as they would put it, by Nova in the depths of their HQ, who clearly fear his vaunted power. As our heroes part from the scene, taking a very, very long elevator ride, hopefully a less awkward one than the one up, down, we leave ourselves with 2 figures sat in that office. In the middle of her circular desk, looking through files and considering things, is of course, one Nova Director, Katrina Victory. And next to her, almost beside her, is of course the assistant she is ever so fond to be attended with. The seemingly teleport-capable hero she almost has on standby. They sit quietly together for a moment. A beverage, madam. A drink, perhaps? A bit early for that, thank you. You seem tense. As if I don't always. Conceded. They're an anomaly, that group. They are dangerous for that. But are they not also useful for it, ma'am? Of course. Every danger is useful, if you are cunning and capable enough. I have had to learn that harder than most. Ma'am, Out with it then. I understand your concern for the city's safety, and I respect your position and decision-making as the one amongst us who is best charged to do so. I do wonder if you have prepared for conflict? You believe there will be trouble amongst the altered for my decrees. It's certainly very far from unlikely. Of course. One cannot have authority without dissidence. One cannot have control without chaos. I do not intend to eliminate chaos. Merely manage it. A light rings on her desk, and she leans. Speaking of chaos agents. Taps a button. A figure lights up on the screen. Director! We should have a conversation. Dr. Rivers, I'm very busy at the moment. Could this be later for later? It could. If you weren't already concerned about what we previously spoke about. Multiple singular points, you mean? Yes, of course. I've been running some numbers, gathering some algorithms, all private data, I assure you. No need for Nova records, as we discussed. I have findings to show you. Wondrous findings. I'll put something in the books for later this evening. Thank you, Doctor. And thank you, Director. Though you can't see his face, you can almost notice something shift in the brief pause in Dr. Rivers' voice before he addresses clearly someone else. I hope you've been well, by the way. Number one. Before he closes the line and says nothing more. Katrina looks backwards to her assistant, who faces her with green eyes and says very little, but has a notable disquiet to his face. Watch him. Of course, madam. Before he is gone in a light green blink. And we rejoin our heroes as the panel shifts elsewhere in New Jump City. So friends, why don't you tell me, amidst all the hustle and bustle as you depart from Nova HQ, where do you find yourselves going for a bit of a private conversation? And how do you go about doing that? Is there anybody else you feel necessary to invite, or is this simply a private affair? Those questions and more to be answered by, well, you guys, right now, actually. Dearest darlings, as I am so very keen and fond to say, the scene is yours.
Just lore dump like that and expect me to recuperate enough to carry on with the scene?
Yep.
Damn!
If we're bringing it up as a private thing, Ella's asks, do we want to keep it to just the four of us, or do we want to bring in Wildfire? I know he was kind of hanging out with us at the end of the party last time.
The business that I speak of could be anybody's problem or issue if we include them. I will leave it up to your judgment, but I feel like the less years, the better.
Okay. What about you, Cleo? We still have to talk about what you wanted to.
Right. I think if we believe that Wildfire will be supportive and encouraging of open dialogue about the new rules and things happening, and she'll give like this kind of like, does he pass the vibe check look? Like, I personally don't know him very well, but if you guys, like, can attest to him, sure.
I don't know him well either, but he was a friend of Cass's. That has to hold some weight.
I don't believe he'd be on board with what Victory is doing.
Well, let's have him over. Where are we going? Do we want to go to my house? Or do we want to go to someone else's house? I would advise neither of your apartments here on this lovely militarized development in the center of our city.
Yeah, I was gonna
A
say.
squad of
that's,
Nova troopers walk by as you say that. They don't say anything, just for added ambience. As you're saying that, an armed squad of Nova troopers walks by.
When they walk past, because I'm chicken shit, I'm gonna do a thumbs down behind their backs.
Allowed.
We could do my place or yours. But, full disclosure, I think should be yours. If you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'll just message my mom and dad that I'm bringing friends over.
Okay. And I'll message Wildfire. If we're all okay with that, thumbs up.
Yeah, and I could ask them to put snacks in the shed too, so that way we can talk out back without disturbing whatever their plans were for the night. My dad was working on a 3,000-piece puzzle earlier, and I don't know how far he got in it.
You actually get a reply text in that moment from your parents. 15:32 in, shed's open.
He's counting the pieces? That's even more fucking.
You think a man does a 3,000-piece puzzle doesn't take that shit seriously? Get real.
I mean, yes, but
it's not
like,
a fucking
who
game,
counts
okay?
pieces? Like, what? That's
I
like another level.
can't count higher than 5, so it's not my business.
So you do puzzles in sets of 5. I got 5 pieces. That's it for today. We come back tomorrow.
That 4-piece puzzle where it's just each corner. Each corner.
It's like the easiest tanagram puzzle that there is, and I just keep taking it out and popping it right back in its place.
I think Aurelia is obviously confused by this conversation about puzzles and numbers. But she's not gonna say anything. She's just gonna be judgmental looking.
Classic.
Then we'll keep the panel on a really judgmental look for a brief moment before we wipe. Mel, you also, of course, get a reply. Got it? Shoot me an Addy.
An Adderall.
No, I'm from
From
an address.
I knew
All
what
those
you
Addies
meant.
around here.
I got you.
Thanks.
I got you, Addies.
Thanks. Shout out my Philadelphians in the chat room. Any case,
Tyson got that ADHD.
listen, I mean, anyway,
He got a test he's studying for. I need to stop.
you're great. Nonetheless, Cleo, why don't, as we fly our panel across, why don't you describe what this shed you've all found yourselves in looks like? What's the setup? What's
How
the
do we
layout?
get there?
Oh yeah, I guess
We all rented scooters, and for those of you who aren't comfortable on scooters, it's okay. We're part of a gang. We'll take up a whole lane of traffic. Not that kind, scooter gang.
two of you can fly.
Yeah, I was gonna fly. I was actually gonna fly.
Wait! But scooters does sound kind of fun.
Hey, okay, that's Aurelia flies. 5 takes scooter with the gang.
I feel like Aurelia will fly while she's also doing lookout to make sure she's not being followed and the other ones are not being followed either.
Smart.
But
The
also she's
scooter
gonna try to blend in, so she might like turn into something that is
Tried and
inconspicuous.
true pigeon.
Okay, I'll be a fucking pigeon again. God damn.
I was asking.
I kind of wanted to be like a fucking cloud, but I'm like, that shit's too high.
Vape smoke.
There are low flying clouds. That's fog, you know?
We will be going down like a block that's just all stoners.
You'll make it work.
Right, that's
Yeah,
so funny.
let me just be like fucking.
There's gonna be a bunch of stoop kids and a lot of smoke going up around them.
Sounds like heaven.
It sounds like exactly where I would be right now if I was not here.
Mm-hmm.
Just being a stoop kid.
Absolutely, that's the dream. Well, as we rejoin our 4 lovely stoop kids, Cleo, why don't you describe this shed for us as the 4 of you arrive in Scooteranimus fashion?
So the shed looks like what her mom tried to have as a garden shed at one point, and kind of smells like that too. It's kind of got like that earthy, like soil was stored in here for a long time. Because as you before you even approach this shed, she lives in just like what looks like a normal house. However, there is no lawn. It is all just like beneficial wildflowers and stuff like that for pollinators. It's like root vegetables and stuff like that planted in some dirt. Cleo's mom is basically whoever that Poison Ivy-esque like character from Sky High was. That's who Cleo's mom is. And then her dad is just a poetry teacher at a local university and likes to puzzle and unwind. So she has 2 hippies for parents. And is very fortunate for that. But
sounds like me in 10 years if I'm lucky, to be honest. I'm gonna keep it a stack.
hell yeah. Good luck. I believe in you. You'll do it.
Dream. That's the dream, you know?
It truly is. Yeah. Do we know what time of year is this right now?
I believe it's like we're approaching summer. It's like late
Okay.
summer, you know.
So
Not
he's
too far
starting
from,
his
like, where we
puzzle
are right
game
now.
early.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, we're in finals week. I don't need to be thinking anymore.
It's puzzle time, baby. I can grade
It's
later.
puzzle
You know what?
time.
That's the mood. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
But the shed has been like converted into what every teenage kid wanted growing up, as like their own separate little party house. Only in there's some computers. She also has like shutters on the inside of the windows to like protect from outside viewing. Rolled up screens that she stole from a university, or took from a recycling pile outside of a university, if you ask her. And just drug paraphernalia, some tie-dye things, a lava lamp, all the cool things that you would have wanted to have had as a kid, because this is an RPG and I can do that now.
it'd be one of those,
Everything
like,
that you saw at the
big-ass, like-
Scholastic Fair is fucking in this shed.
maybe
Little
one of those
disco ball in
big-ass
the
lava
locker.
lamps, one of those like 5-foot lava lamps, like the super big ass
Yes.
ones, that, like the whole room up. Fuck yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah, my parents spoil me a little bit.
I'm living through you guys right now, actually.
I'm living through me right now.
Dude. Fives will absolutely be enamored by the lava lamp.
Hell yeah.
I don't
There's
know if I've ever
beanbag
seen something like that
chairs.
before. Like, oh shit.
I think Aurelia, upon entering, will look around and just like look at Cleo and tell her, or ask her, I should say, "You live here?"
Did you
Well,
live
this
like
is just one of the rooms that we have here. I've slept in this shed before on accident, mainly because sometimes I get really stoned and then I try to read a book, and then my eyes get really heavy and I realize I'm reading a book like this, and so I just let them shut the rest of the way. But I don't actually like live in this room. I have a bedroom inside the house along with kitchen, the bathroom's inside the house. And all the food is inside the house because mom doesn't want me to have ants.
I think she takes her initial like shock that someone could possibly live here, but then she almost seems at ease that you don't. but that would also indicate that she might care, so she takes back that expression very quickly.
As you four settle in and get comfy, unless Mel, you are actually the one who notices a knock at the door.
Where'd Addie?
Oh, can I please have one of those weird slidey things on the outside of this that's like speakeasies and stuff, so you can like look at whoever it is and then slam it back shut?
Absolutely.
Naturally, right?
Hello?
You slide the small little like viewport open, and standing there in a sort of black hoodie with a red shirt on and and some headphones in his ears is Tyson, of course.
What's the secret knock?
Ooh, we could make one of those. That'd be pretty cool.
He sighs and goes, "Open, please, before I flash fry this place."
Let's rude.
Don't! The pizza rolls aren't even done yet!
I think Aurelia's gonna take that threat very seriously and step up and say, I do not appreciate anybody making direct threats of violence.
He takes a moment and sort of leans back. Kidding. Can I come in, please?
I hope for your sake that you actually are.
I will slide the thing shut and open the door.
He steps on in and gives a bit of a wave. What's up, gang?
Hello.
Was out training for a bit before I went on patrol. Figured this might be important. What's the occasion?
2 occasions, right? And Fives will
Maybe multiple
look to
occasions.
Aurelia and Cleo.
Have a seat?
He looks over, sees there's like a bunch of beanbag chairs, like kind of slumps his book bag down onto one shoulder, drops it behind a beanbag chair, and just like, not even sits, just like pitches over.
Oh yeah. Pops, and then as we cut back to him each time, he's like sunken more and more into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's just like
Eventually
sinking
just like an
and
arm leaning out of it.
Yep.
It's like when you're sleeping on an air mattress that's slowly deflating overnight.
That's what it is. I have that inflatable furniture that you can get from selling enough magazines.
Absolutely. Love it. So he flops over and just...
Oh, so stupid.
Such a dumb
The Scholastic Book Fair high is still something I chase all the time.
I can, you know what? And I
I
don't
need
really
that
do
for an
that
adult. I need that for adults. And it's not a
I think
bar. They lied.
They had a Scholastic Book Fair for adults here at a brewery, and the brewery didn't expect the turnout because it was, just a funny idea, and then 10,000 people showed up.
That's hilarious.
That's Minnesota for you. You let us out of our house a couple times a year, and it's delightful.
So then, my dear friends, with the soft sound of the city drifting into the distance behind you all, and with a bit of quiet left to be gathered, Wildfire looks around at you all and just... Occasions, huh? Alright, come on then.
Alright, who wants to go first?
Aurelia turns away.
Fives will look pointedly at Aurelia.
Aurelia's ignoring your look.
Alright, I guess it could be me. Okay, well, I've had some thoughts, and some feelings, and some ideas. Oh god, the lean in. It's okay, Aurelia will say something later, I bet. Okay, and Cleo's just gonna start, pulling this random colored thread that's kind of next to her beanbag, and it'll pull down the projector screen that's, sitting just gently above her head. And so she's, essentially in this beanbag on the floor. Projector screen above has all sorts of lines drawn on it. There's no digital projection in this space. That's too much electricity. No. It's
Well, the
just,
camera-
this is where her madness board is.
The panel stays on the screen as it descends, and we just get a bubble of Wildfire's text in the corner going, oh, okay, a presentation.
Right, okay. So, I started pulling the thread of, who the fuck is that can, duplicate our bodies and take over us after they punch us in the face and leave us for dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate them, so I don't really want to use their name right now because I'll start spewing profanities. And I have to keep my anger in check. So, I started looking into if there has been any other instances or reports of soups essentially claiming that they weren't somewhere that cameras and stuff like that might have said they were, and having cases of identity theft in a very literal form versus a digital one. And I was able to start tracking more than just that, because as I started pulling that thread, I also got led to another thread of when Cypress League really started their coordinated attacks, all being around another soup being somewhere nearby, but that soup wasn't that soup. So, like, for instance, they could have been impersonating my mom, but my mom was here in the garden, and this would claim she would have been downtown at the same time. And it looks like Turncoat has been Turncoat for a long time, maybe their whole lives. But it looks like they started working in tandem with Cypress League around this time, and she'll point the exact, time frame that happened on the board. And from there, the attacks became more coordinated, and they started developing more teams, and all of a sudden all these groups started working together. And she's gonna essentially word vomit all of the stuff that she's found with, coordinated attacks against Nova, what in fact was, the stuff that was supposed to be there, in the cases that she knows about, or that Nova was like, yeah, this is what they tried to hit in the stronghold, but didn't get through. And it looks like Cypress League is weeding out kind of their bitch-ass members, to put it in the nicest of terms, and really developing these strong, cohesive unit teams that are working very well together, some to serve as distractions, others to serve as the extraction, and I can't figure out where Turncoat is, and it's really making me upset. Okay, that's the presentation. Thank you all. Also, I have another theory, but it's not related to that part at all. Mainly because, you guys know me, I love superheroes, love comics, stuff like that. What if... I don't want to, make people feel false hope or anything like that, but what if Cass isn't dead? What if Cass was sent through a wormhole, or sent to a different dimension, or because if we're at this part, or if Grayson serves essentially as that single point, potentially, what if that's just a black void point, pulled Cass in, Cass is over here now, and we just need to be able to void point him back, or void point her back here. I was listening really hard when you guys were talking about the single point theory, and then I went off on another deep investigation about nuclear physics and...
I watched her get atomized. Come apart. Piece by piece.
Right. But that also happened in comics. And then they still come back. And I know that this isn't a comic, and that we're just, normal people. But we don't know what Grayson's power is. We've seen consequences of it, but we don't know what it is.
And we won't know what it is while Nova has their hands on them. Not until they know it. And that'll be too late.
That was part of why we gathered today.
Oh, that's why we're playing Underground Railroad right now. That makes sense. Aurelia, you mentioned you were looking away. Have you looked at the screen at all?
Yeah.
There's a weirdly coincidental, maybe, point you can kind of converge with an event that happened. Sorry, let me rephrase that. When Cleo points out when the Cypress League began to be organized, when they began to really focus their attacks, that lines up almost perfectly with another really, really important event for you specifically.
Is that when I got into this world?
Just about right after, yeah.
Oh, fuck. How would Aurelia
Maybe even
do
like
this?
slightly before. Like it's tough because it's a timeline rather than an exact date. But yeah, it's very clearly lining up very closely with when you showed up in this realm.
I'm not one to pay attention to the material realm's time, but it seems as if this is overlapping with my arrival in some sense. Not to take away from the current topic being discussed.
No, that has weight to it.
It's gotta be more than coincidental.
I think it might lead me to the thing I wanted to discuss with you all today. Prior, when we were in front of Katrina Victory, she discussed the possibility of greater powers. Was it greater powers? I put it in my fucking notes, but I forgot exactly what the fuck she said. This is me speaking, not Aurelia. Aurelia doesn't talk like that.
It wasn't necessarily a greater powers thing, but more of like a
Greater evil? Greater...
Yeah, it's mostly a matter of like if she ideas like if she doesn't hold control over things, something else will try to, and that something else can have much worse intentions than she does.
Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. So Aurelia said, references that, and she said, I think I may know what worse intentions, or the entity that the worst intentions comes from. Back before the event occurred with Cass, if you recall, she called me out on the rooftop about some information I was sitting on.
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be something, someone that knows about what I am and where I'm from. They are not a being I necessarily know or can identify. Their energy is unlike any I have encountered here at all. And they seem to have some power that is incredibly unfamiliar to me. Aurelia got a good look at Vaul a few times, right?
Sort of.
Or at least at
He's
one
always been hooded. Like he's always kind of seemed like he has a very tight hood about his head and has like a long flowing robe. But you've seen one, he has clothed feet like a goat. Two, there was that brief moment when he like zipped in front of your face, and you would swear he had far too many eyes.
Oh God. Okay. So not hot.
We'll see.
We should think I had to check.
Actually,
Until you ask.
specifically about him not being hot.
And if you
So-
recall, my reply was, I make no promises.
Literally.
Everybody's hot. Everybody's hot. Except who we hate. Except who we hate. And even some of them really muddle those waters.
Yeah. Honestly.
Because some of them are real hot too. And I'm like,
So Aurelia is going to try her best. Oh, well, you see Aurelia kind of break out of her usual silhouette and form and just become a mass of energy for a second while she's rematerializing as her best rendition of what Vaul looks like.
Whoa!
In front of you, you all see a hooded figure in a dark, flowing robe with clothed feet.
Oh, that's scary.
I think it's a bit more frightening when he seems to stop time just to speak to you directly.
When did this happen?
My first encounter with him was the first time I met you all. Right?
Yes, but also, hey Mal,
Yes.
you're getting a flashback.
Oh no.
A couple episodes ago, you had a vicious kick coming at you, or sorry, your sister actually had a vicious kick coming at her directly from Jet in the middle of your fight with the Cypress League, which you intercepted and caught. To which she made a quip about a sister's affection. You asked him how he knew, and his exact reply was, "A clothed friend told me."
Yep. I think he knows about more than just you, Aurelia.
I'm sorry, I wanted to talk, but then I'm like, I'm still looking like Vaul, so I think it'd be so crazy if I just start talking and I'm like looking like this guy. I'm like, oh, that's curious. Okay,
You could shift
Aurelia-
back inside.
yeah, I think Aurelia's gonna take after you say her name, Aurelia's gonna take the time to reform into herself. I think that's quite a possibility. It seems like there's knowledge that he is aware of that baffles even someone like me.
I think they were working with Jet.
The second time I encountered him, he was close to Grayson. Which sparked my curiosity about Grayson and how he was involved. I believe he is the reason why I'm here.
Grayson? Oh. Sorry.
You keep saying how you got here, where you're from. Tyson kind of leans from, and he's like, at this point, he's like leaned so far into the beam, he gets to like lean his head up out of it. Where is that? What are you?
Just ask people what they are, Tyson. I'm sorry. Okay. I used to.
Sorry.
That's one way. I used to believe that it would be better if you knew less. But I believe where I am now might be better the more you know. I'm from another dimension. We called it Sanctuary. I was taught from my beginnings that we never should interact with any other realm, any other world. We are beings of great power. Great power comes great responsibility. The impact that even one of us can have on this world, this realm, this timeline is immeasurable.
I'm gonna lead over to Mel and just whisper, "She's Uncle Ben!" And then sink back into my beanbag chair.
Does Aurelia hear you?
It's up to you, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. After she hears you. Is that a family member of yours?
It's a comic thing. Let's focus, please.
Oh, so you are a nerd.
We all dress up in leotards and beat people. Anyway,
You dress up in a leotard.
don't start over
everyone
there,
dresses
Nova
up in a
Onesie. We'll
leotard.
get back to you later.
He said Nova onesie. Oh my god, how does that feel?
I don't wear a onesie. You can at least be accurate.
So don't wear a onesie or a leotard.
No.
I mean, technically, I'm not wearing anything.
Okay.
Hot.
Okay, so you're from another realm of extra powerful beings who observe things and don't interfere. And then you got here somehow?
Now she's interfering, but only a little.
I try to stay as removed as possible, but Nova has said that my participation is necessary in order to get me home.
Okay. Well, that all tracks. If you're as powerful as you say you are, Victory will want to have her claws on you.
Pause.
Euphemism.
You
But also-
No, I need to stop.
It's just... Still doesn't get where the goat with the robe fits in.
I'm unsure too. As far as my knowledge goes, there shouldn't be anybody like us.
Well, just because you know about our dimension doesn't mean you know about other dimensions.
I think that's hard for me to comprehend, being that I'm from an all-knowing dimension.
Ooh, yeah, quick thought, don't buy into all-knowing things, because they're wrong.
You see Aurelia, like, obviously puzzled, but I feel like she's been on this fucking plane long enough to be like, okay, maybe it's worth, like, listening to a bit.
Tyson puts his fingers up for a brief moment. SHIELD, Hydra, Oni and Halo, the government in like every media piece ever. She's got a point.
The government now. Here. Also, religious institutions, by and large, present an omnipotent god. And if that is real, fuck them, because they could have helped kids with cancer, they could have saved people from genocide, they could have done a lot of things, and they deserve to be fucking curb stomped
Oh,
for not getting involved.
Damn, this
have
hits
to do
so
it.
close to home.
Yeah, I have to do this actually. Cleo, you hear clapping.
Uh-oh.
What? Wait, can
Could
Aurelia
not.
detect energy?
Aurelia, you can detect energy, which is why it's weird that you don't notice this until it happens. And when I say Cleo, you hear clapping, I should clarify that all of you hear clapping. Well said. Well said. There's another figure in the room. Sad.
Man, I thought you had him as turncoat for a second, and I was like, I'm gonna open a can of whoop ass on this whole shit.
There's another figure in the room. Sat on a beanbag, but not sinking into it. Just perfectly sat atop it as if wait.
Like Legolas on snow. That son of a bitch.
His legs, hooved, are crossed.
Fucker, why are you so obsessed with me?
There's
Boy,
a
I
hood above his
wanna
head,
go.
with a black robe flowing lightly down that almost seems to billow, though there is no wind in the presence. Sirens. A human colloquial myth of powerful figures usually exuding extreme femininity, whose song is willful enough to draw wayward sailors onto their doom. Quaint, isn't it? The hood lifts back, and for the
Is he
first
hot?
time, all of you see a figure in front of you. Red-skinned and pointy-eared for a brief bit. Black markings encircling his purple eyes, white silvery hair spilling down the back,
Oh wait,
And a
white
horn.
silvery hair. Oh,
and a pair of horns that almost...
You know what
from his
anime
forehead,
characters I love. How dare you use them against me?
and a pair of black horns circling around his forehead that seem to connect at the back, almost like a halo. Hello, Sirens. As you see in front of you,
How
can only
close
assume to
are
be
we
Vaul.
to Vaul?
oh, hands reach distance.
Fives is gonna go flying to try to tackle this guy.
Into the wall. You go
Why?
straight through him. In fact, it's like he isn't there the moment you land. In fact, he's standing where you were before you took off. Well, no, easy now. No need for conflict. We're all having an illuminating conversation, sharing insights and origins, and... Well, I thought it'd be simply rude to skip out. After all, I am the subject of conversation.
Not all the time. Also,
Self-obsessed much?
self-obsessed much. Also, rude. You didn't let anyone know you were coming over. Now my mom's gonna feel really bad when there's not enough snacks for everyone. That's really rude to do to my mom. How dare you?
I would apologize for the offense, but your father is 1673 in right now and appears very busy, so I wouldn't worry about the disturbance.
Wait till my mom hears about this.
So, I'd introduce myself, but our lovely friend here did the honors for me. I thank you, Aurelia. You are, as ever, so very useful.
you just see her like freeze up.
You are also incorrect, though. You being here is no act of mine. I'm not that powerful. Not yet, of course. It's
Wolf's gonna kind of position herself in front of Aurelia because Aurelia is freezing up.
Mm-hmm.
So she's gonna just position yourself in front of her, and
He just kind of stands.
just gonna let him continue. But also, she never told us his name, so technically, no, she did not introduce him.
Yeah, I don't know this motherfucker's name.
He leans forward and just, for the uncanny or unaware, I am called Vaul. Where I am from is a matter of consequence we will discuss soon. What I want, what I desire, is nothing for you to be bothered with. But I sense questions in all of you. and I am ever keen to provide answers. So, for now, let's start. And you all notice the lava lamp dims very heavily. The light from the computers dims. The sunlight outside dims. Until suddenly, everything around all of you is completely black. For now, let's begin with a history lesson, he says, as Vaul himself also fades into the blackness. And before he carries forward, let's take a very, very quick break.
Okay.
We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Touch not that dial, nor that browser, and we'll see you all right back here very soon. And we return to a scene of pure black. Our heroes are Sirens and Wildfire, the only presence here. The five of you stand here in complete blackness, as if the very room, the very area around you had simply faded away to nothing.
Aurelia seeing the darkness, she's gonna start glowing from her eyes. Like, not a lot, but like, enough.
It's as if the darkness around you swallows the light you produce. Like, you
Swallows?
still shine, but it doesn't seem like it reaches anywhere besides, well, the light you produce. Anything else you all say, or, as you know, the last thing you all heard was the strange newcomer Vaul fading away to the quiet tone of, but first, a history lesson.
Why does it have to be in the dark? I'm a visual learner.
In the beginning, there was silence, nothingness, an empty, blank canvas devoid of all thoughts, all existence, all creation. And
Yep,
then,
Genesis. First one, chapter 1. Got it.
you hear a chuckle lightly float on the wind. Humans are so short-sighted, even when they glimpse the possibility.
Literally can't see
Existence.
shit. What do you mean short-sighted? If you would turn the lights on.
Consider the universe, everything you know, and all that you do not, as a song. The first verse, there's a light, a single brilliant pearlescent jewel of shining light, so blinding you all have to avert your eyes in the middle of you. And then it super explodes. And there is a distant canvas of brilliant, blinding existence all around you. The first verse is existence. From nothing comes something. Each verse is a question and an answer simultaneously. The first, rather, is a simple statement. What if there is? But of course, it wouldn't be a first verse if there were only one. Would there? From the raucous calamity of spreading dissonance, from the endless energies that exist out in the cosmos, something, unimaginable something, condensing, coalescing, gathering until all that is subsumed within it. It is not a thing, a place, a possibility. It simply is. And then it died. The light all around you all slows, quiets, glows dim for a moment, until slowly it begins to reignite. Bits and possibilities, all that instant grayscale becoming colored in blues and whites and brilliant purples and reds and colors even you aren't sure you can process. The second verse is creation. With something comes tool. The ability to sculpt and shape the universe birthed. It gathers, creates, and spreads. Before there were stars, there were quasi-stars. Before there were galaxies, there were the concepts of galaxies. Before there were universes, there were metaconceptual possibilities. The second verse asks the question, what do we do with what is? And the answer is everything. But through this endless scape, creation realizes its swell can only contain but so much. Matter annihilation. Combining swells of energy, singularly ignite and then snuff each other out from existence. One by one, the lights dim and the cosmos grows dark. The third verse is annihilation. Creation's antithesis. As all exists is, it must be undone. But you cannot undo everything. Fragments, pieces, small bits of each verse hum in the undertones and the bass line of the very creation each of us sings through. A beautiful song none of us can hear. The fourth verse, then, is control. We have what is. We have allowed it to destroy itself. Now, there must be order, focus, law. It is from this verse that sanctuary is born, and the observers who keep a watchful eye over all of the cosmos, ever watching the endless cycle of creation and annihilation and joy and torment and birth and death and doing nothing. The fourth verse is control. The fifth, then. The fifth is special. If the third verse defines what can be and what cannot, if the fourth orders and sets those rules, the fifth is what lies in between. The places where existence and creation do not line evenly. The gray area, the undefined. The fifth verse is desire. Creation wants. It craves. Desire birthed me and all the others of my ilk, chained in a realm untouched, unable to grasp the cosmos, even with our infinite power, unable to shape anything. Until the sixth verse sees conflict brew. For when you have defined the rule, and when you have allowed creation to desire, you will find coexistence impossible. The sixth verse is a war, but not just a war, Sirens. A war that birthed life. The sixth verse is life. From the starscape around you all, you see galaxies form local superclusters, form star systems, form planets, form Earth, form everything you have known for the entirety of your mortal existences. The sixth verse is life. The battleground between control and desire, between existence and annihilation. The sixth verse exists in the overture. And it has lasted for so very long. An endless conflict your observers would ignore, would tell you nothing of. And even less, they would not tell you that the universe does not end with a sixth verse. Would you like to know the seventh, Sirens? You are looking all around at it. You. Life breeds possibility, breeds inescapable potential. The seventh verse sees life breed anew outside of the observer's laws, outside of desire's wishes. The seventh verse is a potential, the birth of altered. You, all of you, are a grand stage upon which existence will ask its last brilliant question. If we exist, if we can be destroyed, if there are laws, and if desire must break them, if there can be life, and if its potential is unlimited, what then? What then? Slowly, the figure of Vaul walks back into the space, present and looking at all of you. This universe is so big, and there is so much more beyond it, little Sirens. There are forces so much more powerful that would tell you nothing of the intricate part you play in the very drama that is fate itself. I am not so unkind. You all of you, will be the mark upon which destiny decides itself. The choices you make will influence every realm beyond. That is why you must go home. Why they demand you must go home. They do not wish the status quo challenged. Wish it stagnant. I will shatter these chains. I will set possibility in my own hands, and you, all of you, will be the tool by which I do it. I thank you for the part you will play. What then? No quippy banter? No haughty one-liners or ignorant insults? Stunned? Confused? Questioning, certainly.
Why must you go against the natural order?
Natural order is but another guise of law. Another authority set in place because it presumes itself to be right. And I wager all of you have questions around authority. No?
Questions. But I know I'll be no tool of yours.
Not willingly, no. Certainly not. Tell me, Zuchi, did he tell you yet what you're capable of? What you can do?
Ew.
Oh, we're playing coy. Dr. Rivers. Who else?
I haven't seen him in years.
And that is a crime. It was Nova, after all, who bid he be separated from you. For daring to potentiate too much. For trying to reach beyond mortal possibility. For violating natural law. Humans play at God every other day. And and scoff like hypocrites when anyone else tries it.
What do you get out of this?
Freedom, for one. Power, for another. Potential, for a third. But all of that is simply to come with time. The end game, dearest, is to rewrite the rule. To burn the rulebook. To ignore natural law and simply let the universe shape itself in whatever wild, mad way it can. Regardless of what Nova, or the observers, or anything else says about it.
Is the universe shaping itself if you're the one that's doing the shaping?
That's an important question. And the answer is the reason why I'm not simply annihilating you all right now. For you see, for the universe to shape itself, truly shape itself, you all must be allowed to play your part. I'm simply nudging the strings a little, hedging my bets.
You said you were not the one who brought me here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what did?
He is in front of you suddenly, Aurelia. Like, maybe a couple inches from your face.
She's a little shaken, but she tries to keep a stone face.
And Mel, you're now firmly maybe like pressed up against the middle of his chest.
Yep. Like.
As a matter of fact, I do. After all, do you think the observers made their own rules?
What do you mean?
The higher you look, the higher you climb, you find there is always something else looming. Pulling, controlling, demanding. You all assume I to be the one at the top. The one nudging things along, the one playing the puppeteer. You simply have not seen high enough. Yet. Not to worry. If I have my way, that seat will be vacant soon enough.
You speak in riddles. Not answering my question.
Well, unfortunately, I can't break every rule just yet. We could work together, you know, all of you, and me. Tear down the Order. Remove Nova, the Observers, and any other authority who would seek to bind you or control this world. New Jump City freed to make its own future. Is that not the city's goal? To progress?
Progression has
No.
happened. Go ahead.
I think Mel is gonna try to make eye contact with everyone. Like Tucci, Tyson, Leo. Aurelia's at her back, but she can feel Aurelia shaking at this point.
She's not shaking.
Standing big and strong. And kind of quickly gauge where they're at with this guy.
somewhere between disbelief and intrigue.
Yeah, I think Fives is trying to figure out how much of this stuff is lies. There's inherent distrust.
Oh, should I talk? I'm sorry. So Aurelia is kind of like questioning so much of everything right now. Like, while she knows some things that he says is like directly going against everything that she was raised to know, there's still a part of her that's like, there's a reason why certain things are in place. And even now, he's like, would you not want to see Jump City progress? Her initial thought was like, has progress not happened under the Observer's watch? So it's kind of like, she going through it, Loki. She's not as shaken, but she's definitely going through it.
How's Tyson feeling?
He is stone-faced outwardly, but I think you specifically, Mel, know that means that he is on a hair trigger. You can't tell if that means he's like a minute from attacking this guy or agreeing with him, but he is very clearly very tense.
Alright. I think I'm gonna do something here that...
Oh.
I think I'm gonna act on one of my conditions.
Oh?
Yeah.
Tell me more!
Yeah. I'm thinking about it anyway. I'm thinking about it.
Do you want us to keep the banter going while you think, or?
No, because I think what I'm gonna say needs to be and can you repeat what you had last said, Foxy?
That's fine.
'Cause
He basically was just offering that you all could work with him, effectively, like that you could, step away, or you could work with him to, remove any authorities that are above you all and allow Jump City to progress in its own natural order, free of authority.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know what I'm gonna do.
Let's talk about it. What you got?
So, I am going to act on my angry condition.
Mm-hmm.
And you said he is like right in my frickin' face, right? Right up on me. And just is Aurelia tall? I picture her as tall, but
Is Aurelia tall?
I guess right now she is. She changes her height sometimes.
so just I'm a little bit shorter than you. From Mel, you hear her very coldly and very harshly just tell Vaul to back up.
You say back up, and it's almost like you see Vaul's neck almost snap down to you, Mel. Like, you don't see any motion. It's just 1 minute he's looking at Aurelia, the next instant he is looking directly at you. And for a brief moment, you see far too many eyes. And then back to just the two.
That's a delightful thing. She does not feel any. She does not shake. She does not stammer. She's maintains eye contact for him, which is actually something that she does not particularly do that often. Even with the many eyes, she picks the set and she sticks to it and says, I'm starting to come into my own when it comes to anarchists. Because that's what you are. You're an anarchist. A chaos demon.
I've been called worse.
And what you're preaching wouldn't lead to progress. Not anytime soon. It would just lead to chaos. And that is not what we need. That is not what any of us would want to participate in. We would not want to see the bloodshed. We would not want to we would not want put our name on that kind of New Job City.
I think Aurelia's gonna step up to like where Mel is too until she's next to Mel and like kind of in front of Vaul the same and say, the lack of intervention does not mean the lack of care.
Vaul cranes his neck almost more towards you, Mel, somewhat. Gets very, very close. To the point where you almost feel like your noses might brush. Before... Sorry?
Sorry, but the same way that Mel stepped in front of Aurelia is going to do the same for Mel.
You step in front of her, and Aurelia, you're certain that if Vaul really wanted to, he could probably either brush you aside or at least do something to both of you. So it maybe catches you as a bit of a surprise when as you step forward, he does take half a step back. His eyes don't leave Mel, though. Interesting. Unplanned for, but interesting. Little Melina, it seems that you too have new things wonderfully ahead of you. Be careful. Let that light shine too brightly, and victory might just snuff it out.
A flicker of confusion crosses her face, but she tries to, like, ignore that and keep her expression, like...
He sighs.
Mean. Like, no, I'm not gonna fall for your bait, excuse you.
He sighs. Nonetheless, he says from suddenly being next to Cleo, leaned against the wall, I sense my offer is not being accepted, and my hospitality has been overextended. So, I will simply, leave that information on the table for all of you. Other questions? Concerns? Commentary before I depart?
No, but I can walk you out.
No need, Cleo. All I need you to do is keep walking forward. We'll be in touch. And suddenly, the strange whispering echoes you hear in the background cease. The scene lets out a palpable sense of tension that maybe you all let go a breath you didn't quite know you were holding. And suddenly, you can hear the sounds of the ambient city around you as you return to your full senses and are left alone. Or so you presume.
I'm sorry, I guess I shouldn't have spoken for everyone, but none of you really seemed interested. At least not in... I want to side with you kind of way.
You did well, Mel.
I think there's just a pain of Cleo sinking into her beanbag chair with just a little bit of just sinks lower into it.
I think you see Aurelia kind of like go into the corner of the shed, and I feel like she goes into a form that most people aren't familiar with, kind of like her sleeping form, where she's just like a weird ball of energy, but she's not like the person she normally is.
Cleo, before I forget, you were talking about earlier, you were talking about how you didn't know where Turncoat was. Turncoat was captured by Nova recruits.
Right. Turncoat can turn into anybody at any time. If they are captured, I feel like they will undoubtedly uncapture themselves. Discapture? Decapture? They will no longer be captured. I don't think that Cyprus would let them stay captured too long either. They seem to be very useful in all of their strategic endeavors. I mean, we could always ask your mom and her new friends over there at Nova. See if they've heard anything. Do you know how your mom's feeling about being at Nova? Sorry, it's really nosy. It's not my business. But also, she didn't look too happy, and I want to know if she's someone that would work with us, or not be an obstacle, or help us with Grayson.
My mom doesn't know that I cape.
You know what? I won't ask questions. Given.
I will. I'll ask questions. What? How could she not? You're like fucking awesome.
Well, she doesn't. Medusa's not really on her radar, so.
She needs a better radar. No offense. Sorry. Right.
She thinks you guys have a lot of potential as great as future heroes, though.
What if I don't want to do anything when I'm older? What if I want to do puzzles with my dad? I barely want to do stuff now.
That's not true. You give me that look. You hate Nova too much to not do anything.
Right, but with enough drugs, anyone can sit in a chair for a long period of time. You know, I don't have to fight. I'm choosing to because it's really upsetting what they're doing. Maybe one day they'll be more chill. Or maybe one day they won't exist.
Hey, Aurelia.
Mm-hmm.
You're off in the corner, vibing, How good is your, passive energy sensing, like when you're not trying to like pick up energy signals. How good at that do you think you are?
I feel like she's almost super trying because she's just like a ball of energy now, so I feel like she's at her best.
That makes perfect sense. You're picking up a weird energy. It does not feel like Vaul at all. In fact, it doesn't feel like anything you've really felt before, but it does definitely feel strange. And it's coming from something that's in the corner of the room you're like shuffled into. In fact, if you're focusing in on it, there's a little book on a nightstand.
Oh, fuck. Okay. So, Aurelia's just gonna stay in blob form. Oh, wait. I forgot to tell you guys. When she goes into her blob form, she's like super fucking bright. So you guys are like being blinded low-key.
Facing the other way, baby.
Fortunately, I have so much pit crew art that I've made with sunglasses on. We should be fine.
He's throwing the shades on.
Hey, you know what? I'll take Aurelia's blinding light over Vol's stupid suffocating darkness. Fuck that guy.
You know, fair.
Yeah,
She couldn't even give us a nightlight? Like, fuck you, man.
Aurelia
It's
tried
supposed
to
to be a
shine light, but some bro sucked it out, apparently. He...
Don't let a man dim your light,
All right.
even if they've got cloven hooves.
You heard it here first, folks.
Period.
But yeah, the book is still there. It's it's on a nightstand about a foot or so from you. It does have a title. I imagine you've picked up enough of like human language that you can read English words.
I think Aurelia could read everything technically.
Then we'll accept that as you're able to perfectly read the words. Interesting and obscure superheroes from across the ages.
She's gonna swallow the book in her blob form.
Cleo, you just watched Aurelia pick up and swallow your obscure superhero book. It's inside of the blob that is Aurelia at current.
Aurelia,
She's gonna dim
is your blob form gonna leave juices on my book? Is this a wet blob form? And I'm gonna get up out of the beanbag chair and try to like understand how your blob form works and just start touching you.
Is it wet or puffy? What do you mean it's a blob? Is it wet or puffy? I don't know. Which thing you want? It better not be wet. Hands me a blob. It's wet.
God damn it.
Well, Aurelia. Damn, that could have been so weird sounding.
I knew where you were leading, and I was really afraid. I'm not gonna lie.
But she's made of energy, and energy is like blinding and not typically like wet by nature. It's more light energy, so the book would be safe. But she's not telling you that. She's just ignoring everybody right now.
Aurelia, you just can't take my books without asking or explaining or telling me what's up. You gotta tell me. Otherwise, I'm gonna get mad. I don't wanna get mad.
She's gonna turn into another giant lava lamp.
Give me my...
Okay, I have to ask, does the book also transform? It's not part of you, so would it just fall out?
So she is controlling, with her new power, she can control density, so she's just making the book like smaller and look like it's one of the like lumps in the lava lamp.
I see.
I'm upset.
Aurelia, with time to like have the book on your person, you're finding
your person?
Yeah, sure, that too.
My lava lamps in.
Yeah, that. You're finding that it's a kind of energy you aren't familiar with at all, actually. It's not like potent. It's not like overflowing, but you can certainly feel it kind of, wrapped around this object, lingering. It's also been there for a while. Or maybe it's constantly updating? Hard to tell.
Aurelia, I don't want to hurt you on accident or on purpose, please release my book.
Yeah, speaking from experience, not the most fun.
I don't think Cleo could hurt Aurelia.
I'm going to unleash my powers.
Oh god, it's happening. All right, sure. Let's do it. I guess. Please roll. Is it? I think it's plus freak plus danger. It's plus freak.
Plus freak.
Please roll plus freak.
Damn, Cleo's freaky as fuck though.
She sure is.
That's why it's best not to tangle with Cleo.
2d6 plus 3.
Damn,
9.
I got hit.
On a 9 for I can tell you how it's temporary or something
Yeah,
else.
I gotta remember what happens with that.
Take your time. So why don't you tell me what you're trying to do here, Cleo?
Gotta pull up my moves again. Nova playbook. Because I love the sheet being so clickable and easy in the internet in Roll20, but that's not what I need right now. Because I need to remember. So I'm using. It's I think she wants to try to use, or she's doing it to develop burn. So I get to mark, I have to mark a condition with 7 through 9, and I'm going to mark angry.
Makes sense.
Because my shit's being taken from me, and I don't like that. And then she's going to...
Oh, actually this works.
In a way, I'd like to kind of like mesh Reality Storm with Move, because she's going to kind of mess around with Aurelia's innards to grab the book, and she will like reach through Aurelia's like external lava lamp form to reach in and grab where she believes it is. And so creating a destructive burst of energy.
So, I want two things here. First, yes, Cleo, you reach out and like press with your blast of energy and are able to like, you try to keep it as light as possible and just kind of like reach out to grab for the book primarily. It scatters papers and knocks a shelf or two over about the room, and you all feel this kind of push of energy. In fact, Fudge, you actually maybe even like push back a little bit, given that you're, actually both of you might be pushed back a little bit given the proximity to the explosion. Aurelia, you're not hurt. You're certainly not wounded or anything like that. Obviously, this wasn't intent to hurt you. But how does it feel for you when you realize that Cleo's mind powers, Cleo's telekinetic abilities, Cleo's telepathic abilities can in fact keenly affect even energy beings like you?
Whoa.
Acceptable response. I want to say no. Don't take a power flow. This is fine. I think we're gonna leave that one where it is. I think it's fine. So I think you have that moment of recognizing that like you are a thing not of this dimension. You are not certain what things materially can even affect you actually. But it seems like, at least to some degree, Cleo's mind powers can reach you, for lack of better terminology. The book goes flying. It doesn't like, you aren't able to grab it, Cleo. It just flies across the room.
Aurelia's gonna catch it.
I'll try to body you so you can't.
Well, she's gonna catch it and hand it to you, okay?
Oh. Cleo's like, I'm not letting it go back into her hand, no. Because she just thinks you're gonna make it a lava lamp again.
Well,
Alright, well then I'm making it gay. Cleo, you reach to tumble Aurelia. Aurelia, you're reaching for the book. Cleo, you're tumbling for Aurelia.
Aurelia is using her density and control to make the book float instead of it go flying. So it's not like she's still a lava lamp. It's just floating over there.
Okay, it's not you reaching your hand for it.
Yeah, she's not
I can't make it as gay as I want. Damn, fine. All right. I'll accept defeat on this one. That's fine. Nonetheless, Aurelia, you're able to manifest your power and kind of like tip it so that rather than flying across the room, the book is now just kind of slowly spinning in the air in front of you two. Cleo, you do still kind of leap and like clash into Aurelia, so now you two are kind of like a person in a lava lamp on the ground briefly.
And when Cleo crashes into me, I probably go back into being like Aurelia.
Perfect. Then you two are tumbled end over end together, and it's still gay. Thank you.
Yay, gay! Yay, gay!
As you two land in a cluttered heap, 5, Mel, you both watch your two teammates have a brief scuffle over a book and then collapse to the ground together. And Tyson, who has not really spoken since Vaul showed up, really, it's just kind of been looking a bit flabbergasted at the scene in front of him and just, what the actual fuck is happening right now?
You gotta ask.
Okay.
You gotta ask before you take people's things.
I wouldn't take it if it wasn't important, Cleo.
I don't know that.
When do I just take?
I'm not around you 24/7, and I've only known you a handful of weeks.
I thought that would be enough to know I don't just take.
But you just took.
Are we just having this conversation on top of each other?
Yeah.
Wait, who's on
That is
who?
what's happening. Yeah, who's topping right now?
I'm topping. I'm topping so hard right now.
I gotta get out of this. I gotta get out of here. Let me out.
You started this.
Made it happen.
I did do this. It's
You
on
were
me.
the architect of this, Foxy. I don't know
Twisted
what
by
you're
my own
talking about.
petard, actually, turns out.
I was gonna sit over by Tyson.
Yeah, he's just kind of staring out at this and just... Is this like an average day for all of you? Or like, are we gonna ignore the extra dimensional devil guy who just showed up for a brief bit? Or
I think
Aurelia
they
is the
just
only
need to
expert when it comes
decompress.
to reading.
Yeah.
Do we all... I can get my bong from inside the house. Is that the kind of decompress you mean? Or like lonely decompress? Or like let's go get the toaster strudels from inside decompress?
I'm just imagine you saying this like on top of Aurelia, like almost in the pinned down fashion, but like turning your head to be like, yeah I could go get my bomb. Toaster strudel.
No, Cleo is very angry with Aurelia. She's making jokes in light of it right now, but she's pissed. And I think, like, because you're underneath her, you can kind of feel that clenched rage throughout her whole body.
I apologize, Cleo.
Why did you do that?
A lot has
You said it's important, it's one of my books.
A lot has happened today, Cleo. I am not as sure of things as I used to be. And this book, there is a lingering energy that is unfamiliar to anything I have known before.
Then why didn't you start with that?
Kind of going through a lot.
Okay.
Rematerialize for a while. That's why I chose a form that you seem to be fond of.
Beanbags?
No, it's a lava lamp.
Oh, the lava lamp. I thought the blob for the beanbags.
I'll get up off of you and give you a hand so you can stand up. Alright, okay.
She'll, like,
Just next time, ask. That is one of my boundaries. Thank you.
She'll like take your hand, but I feel like you'll realize that she doesn't need it at all because she just starts
No,
floating.
because gravity is not real.
Yeah, she just like kind of starts floating, but she says, "You are a wonderful teacher, Cleo, and I am learning."
Aww.
I don't really consider myself a teacher, but thank you, maybe. Thanks. Sorry, I'm working on getting better about it. I should probably talk to my therapist about this.
5.
I'm so
the
sorry
book
for getting
will be flashed
angry.
on the head. As Cleo's finishing off the apology, the book is kind of floated over and lightly bopped you on the head. It didn't hurt or anything. It's just kind of boop, and is now floating back away from you.
Fives is gonna take it and give it a little spin. Hit it with some torque.
Now it's
No,
whirling off
stop!
the room.
Try to jump up and get it.
Easily, you're able to. It's not moving very fast, given that it's floating as if it was a feather. So you're able to just kind of reach up and grab it.
You said this is my book on
Obscure superheroes.
obscure superheroes that I've been kind of going through. Right. Well, if there's something calling to you in it, or something that you're becoming aware of that's not like it should be, how should we go about kind of assessing that? Like, does anyone got any cool... I can tell what's affecting this lens. And I'm gonna look at everyone, including Wildfire, and be like, Aurelius says it's weird. How do we know it's weird? Where is it weird? Why is it weird? How long has it been weird?
Well, the answers to all that and more. Sorry.
Next time on Dragon Ball.
Cleo, may I touch the book again?
Yes, you may. And I will hand it to you.
Aurelia, this. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I was gonna say she wants to say thank you, but she doesn't.
We're not there
Thank you's
yet.
not. Thank you's not in her vocabulary yet.
We're baby steps, you know.
But you
Yeah,
seem
it sucks
like-
when your teacher is Cleo, who probably has no manners compared to the other members of the team, who actually learned those.
But she'll like look at you and nod, so you know that she's like
Yeah.
grateful or whatever. She's like,
Well,
she takes it. Then she studies it, and then Foxy tell me about them shits.
why doesn't I'm gonna let anybody who wants to here, as I think Tyson sees the book shuffle happening and sort of stands up. Now you can sort of stand up and walk over with him if you'd like to. Fives, you're right nearby. Anyone who'd like to could make me a roll to assess the situation, and you can all go ahead and make the rule. We'll take the best possible result, and you can all, as a group, ask the number of questions you get. This is a 2d6 plus superior.
Oh shit, I like being superior.
I see a 9. I see a 7. I see an 8 and a 7. Looks like we all got hits all around, friends. So then, you know what? Because I see that everyone hit, I'm going to count this as a 10 plus. So, you guys can ask 2 questions from the list. What here can I use to blank? What here is the biggest threat? What here is in the greatest danger? Who here is most vulnerable to me? Or how could we end this best quickly? I will also allow a secondary question of some kind. I will say, at first glance, Aurelia, you're able to once again kind of feel that, like, the book has this energy surrounding it that's not like you or anything from your realm, and definitely not like Vaul or anything from his realm, but it appears to be either recycling itself, or it's been applied and lasting for a very long time, or it's hard to really get a read on it, but it's surrounded by this strange energy. Anybody got questions?
I'm curious about either the biggest threat or greatest danger question. I'm not sure which one would be more pressing, but I think either of those would be useful as a team. I would like to decide before we actually like spend those questions, though.
I will
Like,
say if you pick either one of those, I will skew it to be more towards a better answer for what you're looking for here, because those are both kind of like those both wouldn't give you exactly what you're looking for here, but I can skew those to be more.
Then I probably misunderstood the situation.
I think what here can I use to blank would probably be the best question we could use for trying to find. If
Sure.
What type of question do we want to ask with it, though, is the question. Like, what kind of info are we trying to get?
I feel like what? Who, what, when, where, or why? For this energy?
Yeah, like what here? So what here can I use to gain more information?
Oh shit, that sounds dope.
I'll allow that.
Wait, team?
Yeah.
Sirens?
Yeah.
Ready?
Assemble!
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. All right. So, what here can you get more information? Well, I think it's probably the most obvious answer as you're feeling out the energy. One, if you want to communicate to your teammates like what you're feeling off of the book.
You did, right? Oh no, did I? Kinda. I said it was the energy, unlike. Yes, but I didn't mention the like reforming or the lingering.
That's fine. I think that the more important part is the energy. I think so. You can certainly feel this energy isn't malignant. There's no like malicious energy, and no harm will come to any of you. There's no harm to this. At least it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it's malicious at all. But as far as what you can use to get more information, you could flip through the book.
It really does that.
I'm gonna watch over your shoulder.
The book is sorted.
Aurelia's gonna make her shoulder like clear so you could see through it. Transparent so you could just see through it.
So,
horrifying. I love it.
The book is sorted in order from it's ordered alphabetically separated by ages, going from the more recent, distant past to the far early ages of superheroes. It's basically reverse chronological order, sectioned off by alphabet. You flip to the first section, which is kind of effectively Mel, you know this first generation in the book as Hades' generation, your grandfather's generation of superheroes. And there's some obscure names in there. Some of them you might even know as old friends your granddad has mentioned occasionally in stories here or there, but nothing super important or interesting. You flip through that with no issue. The next section is generation backwards from there, and you actually start to hear about some of the lesser known heroes who operated before there was a more organized structure. In as far as to caping, some of the more established rules, quote unquote, for caping. This is where the term independent hero comes from in this age. You see a lot of notable heroes. In fact, there's a whole page dedicated to a hero called Ultima, who had a similar power set to your mom, actually, funnily enough, Mel, but was basically just seen as this absolute altruist, would go anywhere and be anything to help anybody, no matter how big or how small or how inconvenient it was, which ultimately killed him. It ultimately saw his death when he found himself fighting several villains while trying to also save multiple stories worth of people from an exploding building. And while he saved them all, no one was even injured. It did cost him his life.
So Ultima met his ultimate end?
There it is. You scroll further back to another segment, and you're getting into the real weeds here, heroes that predate even the foundation of Nova, funnily enough. And then you see it. As you're scrolling through, you get through all the A's, all the A names. And then there's a page you can't read. The picture on it is swirled and impossible to make out any detail on. The words, the letters are shifted, twisting, bending, moving. The letters are constantly shifting so as to make the page completely unreadable. Whatever or whoever is on this page, there's no way to get a sense of it. Aurelia, the energy you're looking for is clearly emanating directly from this page. Type.
Cleo, where the heck did you get this book from?
Where did I get this book from?
The library.
Oh, just the library?
Wait, the library with the section of forbidden knowledge?
I mean, I just kind of walk around in it and pick one after I get bored of looking.
Well, I didn't say that in character. I was more asking Foxy because, like, lore-wise, that's kind of like how I came to the world, I believe.
No, not there. Just a regular library.
Oh, okay, it was just a regular library, not the library of forbidden knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Secrets.
But it's as you're looking for a while and figuring and trying to get through things, it's actually Tyson who, in a rare moment of intelligence, speaks up. Okay, wait. So it's not energy like you or your realm, and it's not like Vaul or whatever he's got going on. What if it's magic?
Is Aurelia aware of magic?
There is no magic in your realm.
And she probably didn't study, so she probably wouldn't know about magic either. Okay.
Some of my other friends here, my, notable supers, and hell, especially even you, Cleo, having read through this book, there are plenty of altered and plenty of heroes throughout the years who have used abilities that have been described as magic. Sources differ. They can be from empowered by, unknown gods, to encountering strange alien artifacts, to being empowered by wellsprings of magical energy from realms beyond. But there are certainly
Sorcerer
heroes.
Supreme uses like this ring thing to to his magic.
That's copyright. We can't use that. Now, shut up. We're gonna get sued by the mouse.
No.
I ain't got mouse money, man.
Sorcerer Supreme Pizza.
All right. Any case, you are all keenly aware that there are in fact heroes that have existed that are magical in nature. So it seems like there's a hero somewhere on this page who someone doesn't seem like they want anyone to know anything about because they casted a spell on this page.
Is there another copy of this?
Get a
book
sense
somewhere?
of what alphabetical range we're in here?
You're in the early B's.
Oh, early B's. B's?
You're either at the very, very end of Y or
B's.
the very, very beginning of B.
Sorry, at the end of Y?
Sorry. You're at the very end. You're either at like A Y, like the very, very end of A, or you're in the very beginning of B, or like A Z or whatever.
Okay.
Like you're like this is either this is either the last A name or the first B name in the book or in the section of the book.
Cool.
It also does seem like the name is separated into two short words.
I think Aurelia is going to seem so out here for a second and say, is there not a device where you can search upon?
I mean, there's our phones.
Oh yes.
I recommend incognito mode or something like that, though. To have weird cookies or weird search history on your phone.
I'll save you all time. You can find an exact PDF copy of this book, one edition earlier.
Where? Oh, PDF. Okay. Who brings
Oh,
it up? Because it's
mine.
not Aurelia. I bet you it was Fives. Fives, you brought it up. I bet.
And
Yeah.
Fives, I think you don't even have to say words. I think Fives, you can just turn your phone screen around because when you scroll through this PDF and hit the end of A, it's the exact same thing. The page of the document, the letters swirl and don't make sense. Any picture is constantly shifting and nebulous.
Can we take a screenshot?
Sure.
Alright.
Taking a screenshot, you get a mess of jumbled characters bent and swirled together that don't appear to make really any sense. But Corndog, roll me a d6 real quick.
Da-da-da-da-da. Oh no.
What you got?
I rolled a 3.
The damn threes again.
Odds, it's the
The
threes.
damn
Threes are back.
threes again. We should have known.
The threes are back.
Well, thankfully, I was calling for odds here. So, do you keep a bookmark in this book at all, Cleo?
I think there's like 6 different receipts in this book.
All receipts?
Yeah, they're all just random receipts from either a library trip. You know how the library you get like the one receipt that explains when the due date is, and then the other receipt has actually what you got checked out.
You feel a tug. It's not intense. It's this light little nudge in your brain, like you really want to pull one of those receipts out real quick.
I'm just gonna reach over and just yoink that out.
It's not a receipt, even if you're certain that's what you put in there. It's a small little
isn't-
card. One you've seen before, because it came to you out of a crow's mouth. And on it are the letters B, Y.
Bye, bye, bye.
Okay.
Be yourself. I solved it.
Forgot about that. That was so long ago. Holy shit, the payoff.
Well, it says, I'm gonna look at BY, and then I'm gonna look at the book, and then I'm gonna look back at it, and look back at the book. I'm gonna focus really hard and try to remember something.
Aurelia, the exact same energy is coming off of that card Cleo's holding.
Oh, fuck.
Whoever casted that spell, a spell that's clearly powerful enough that it didn't just affect this book, but every single copy of this book. In fact, possibly every bit of information ever recorded about this person. Whoever casted it is the same person who gave Cleo that card.
Okay. I think Aurelia is actually going to be helpful and discuss stuff. She's going to say, Cleo, seems whatever you're holding holds the same energy as all that I'm feeling. It's almost as if it's from the same being.
Do you think it's like a calling card that we're supposed to use? It doesn't make sense with Vaul, because none of those letters are BY from what I understand.
It's from him.
It fell out of a crow's mouth?
It did what? Tyson says.
Yeah, like a crow just kind of gave it to me one day. I try to like get the crows to come live in my yard because I think it's fun. Because then people are like, ooh, that house is haunted. And then I'm like, it's just me feeding the crows.
I don't want to have him be the one to ask this question, but I think the question that needs to be asked is the follow-up you guys need to ask. So I'm going to go ahead and ask it. When did this happen?
When did this happen? I, Courtney, do not recall.
This was in our prequel episode, which was when the first time you all came together, met Aurelia, and fought parts of the Cypress League.
Oh, just the day that we met Aurelia and fought the Cypress League for the first time. At least the first time together.
Tyson cuts his eyes around to Aurelia. Didn't you say it was the first time you saw Vaul?
I did say that.
Then yeah, it's a calling card. Somebody knows something about that guy. Whoever they are, he looks back at you, Cleo. They want you to come find them.
Just me or all of us?
Well, shit, I ain't being looked out of this. Whatever fucking fucked up mystery you all got your heads into, it's looking like it's gonna be pretty big. And I, for one, need to know how the fuck this plays out.
Well, welcome.
You don't really have the
Siren
makeup
now,
of
too.
a siren, but we can try.
He flips his locks a bit. Come on, I got the hair.
That's true.
I would say hair isn't necessarily gendered.
Right then. So we got a mystery to solve.
Sure do, Fred.
I'm gonna go ahead and say the one thing that we all probably need to say, given recent events, and at least one of you looking at fives isn't gonna like it. I don't think a single word of this should go to victory. Not Vaul, not Aurelia, not this card.
She already knows about me.
You mean it, babe?
I was gonna say the same thing.
Well, that means we only have 2 cards we can keep. And I say we keep them real close to our chests.
How does that help?
Keeps victory out of it. Whatever this is, you heard the weird horn, dude. It goes up. All the way up. Control, authority, the natural order. I can think of one person who also wants all of that. And I don't think I want her hands in it. Objections?
You talk like you're the one in charge calling the shots. We invited you here out of our own kindness.
Tell him.
You're right. Pardon me if I'm intruding.
So, Mel, what do you think?
I think right now, till we know more about what's going on, we really should keep this stuff close to our chests.
I have no inclination to tell Nova or anyone anything anyways, ever?
I will let you all decide. I'm fine with it.
Guess that puts it back on you then, Five.
Fair enough. If the team agrees.
Well, it doesn't have to be like a unanimous thing, Fives. Are you sure you're okay with that?
I just think this is going to be a lot more complicated than we think. Just based on the history lesson Vol gave. It wouldn't hurt.
Yeah,
to
how much
have
of that do we
resources.
believe?
Bullshit smoke show meant to scare us. I wouldn't take any stock in it.
I mean,
Even-
certainly some of it is falsehood, but
I think there is a bit more reality in that than I would like to admit.
One person I was hoping wouldn't say that.
On the bright side, I suppose, it does lend credence to your theory, Cleo.
Which one? And she's gonna look at the board behind her that has all the different things on it.
That Cass could be somewhere else. If the world is as big and expansive as Fall claimed.
Where I come from, no one truly dies. They just reform.
You'll see Cleo jot down in her notebook, reincarnation plausible.
Tyson has grabbed his bag and is already up at the door. Whatever. I got patrols to do. So, hit me if you need me.
Are you okay?
Just not buying this reincarnation bullshit just yet. Forgive me for being a skeptic.
Nope, that's important. I didn't say that it's 100% true. I just wrote that it's plausible.
Keep your heads up and your brain sharp. Vaul thinks he's playing us, and I hate when I think I'm being played.
Yeah, I didn't like that it felt like he knew us. Or he, like, was like, I know you. I didn't like that he thought that he thought that we thought that he thought he knew us.
Turn towards the door. Exactly, Cleo.
Is he gone?
Goodbye.
He's leaving.
I'm waiting for him to leave.
Door closes.
Alright. I was gonna be like, he said to find him if we need him, but will we ever really need him?
Maybe. I don't think we can count anyone out.
Indeed. I think we should explore this person who's interested in you, Cleo.
I'm gonna turn through the book that we have to the back of the B section instead of the front and see if I see anyone with BY at the start of their name, or anyone in the B section that has a Y last name, and just start to peruse the B's of the book.
I think Aurelia, going through the fucking day that she did, she's probably gonna, like, inconspicuously kind of patrol the city looking for any, like, energy similar to the book. And this will also give her time to think about all that Vaul has said, because even though she's not trying to show it, this bitch is, like, going through an identity crisis right now.
5, Mel, plans?
Depending on how early in the day it is, Mel still has classes.
It's later in the afternoon.
Okay, well, that's probably it for the day.
Actually, hold on. You guys saw Victory early, so it's probably around, like... It's like early afternoon, like approaching like 1-ish, maybe.
And she probably still has a class or two.
Mel's off to class then?
Yeah.
Gucci?
I think Fives is going to head to the Nova compound and see if they can find Sable.
What are you looking for Sable for?
To get their advice.
Word. I think I like how that sounds. So then, with our sirens, it sounds like separating for the afternoon. Cleo, you're looking through the book, and you see a couple of BYs. In fact, the first hero you see is there's a hero called Bite, B-Y-T-E, shark-based hero in that section of the book. Probably not who you're looking for. Their powers don't seem to have anything to do with magic or anything even related to that. You look for some heroes that have B last name Y, and while you do find some, you realize that the section that you're looking for, you're trying to match BY to, would be hero name, not real name. And on the page you're looking for, because you're pretty certain this BY person is the person on the page you're looking for, perhaps?
Mm-hmm.
You realize that BY is probably their hero name, and it's... I don't know how good you are at cryptography or like breaking like lexicons or codes, Cleo, because it's not really a code or anything like that. But I think if you're trying to like space out the characters based on looking at other title pages, you are pretty certain BY is 2 words, 4 letters each.
Bees nuts. Just
Okay.
kidding. When I like start to kind of like try to think through it, I know we just said that we're not going to tell anyone, but I'm going to go to my dad and be like, Dad, I've got a cool puzzle that I'm trying to figure out. Okay, it's for school. It's in regards to superheroes, and it's like I think their first name is a B and the second name is a Y based on how it'll fit in this puzzle. Do you have any idea of any like heroes and stuff with BY? Mom's still at school, so I don't.
He kind of leans over somewhat. BY, huh? I can't say that's anything familiar, kiddo, but if it's a puzzle worth solving, I got some spare time. Let's see if we can't crack it. Come on.
Alright, I'm gonna show him it on one of my scrawled sheets of like trying to figure out what this is and not the magic-y calling card that I got, because I don't think that that he would be too happy that his teenage daughter got a calling card from someone? Anyone? Weird vibes.
Acceptable. So I think as we settle into you and your dad trying to figure out what's going on, Mel heading off to resume their classes, Aurelia going out on patrol and Wildfire patrolling a different way, and Five heading off to Nova HQ to speak with Sable for some advice. The scene slowly fades, the camera, the panel, freezing on this instant as our sirens depart, new information heavy on their minds. And we bring ourselves to another location. Somewhere not too far, but distant enough that maybe you have to travel for a little bit. Tucked into the corner of the docks district, where repairs are still being done from a virulent battle. In a small little, almost shed-like house, several individuals sit in preparation. Alright, how we looking? Get a head count? Says Jet. Shriek, who has flown in recently and is messing with her nails. Well, Turncoat's still in jail. Smoothbore's out of commission. Haven't heard anything from Animus recently, but I assume he's around. Uplink's upstairs tinkering, and, well, there's me and you. Scylla is... There's a brief shaking the walls. Still working through her anger, I think. But I'm sure she'll be ready. Got about a full house. Full as we're gonna get. It's... not enough, she says. Yeah, I thought so too. Not for what we need. This isn't some heist, not some smash and grab. You're talking about a siege, Jet. We're gonna need some more firepower. Yeah. Yeah, we are. I know where to get it to. Ain't gonna like it, though. Prep yourselves. Take about a day. Tomorrow night, we're getting my nephew back. And where are you going? To make a deal. And with that, the scene fades, and we bring tonight's episode to a close. I want to thank you all for coming out to one more lovely episode of Jump City Sirens. It has been a splendid time with my incredible cast. I want to take a moment to pass the camera around to all of them so they can tell you who they are, who they've played, where they can be found on the internet, and what other cool things they have coming up. Let's start, in reverse order, of course, with Meg Mysterio.
Hello, I am Meg and Meg Mysteria, and tonight I played Mel Dracos, our beacon. And as far as what I've got coming up, you'll see me back here in a couple of weeks for our next episode of Jump City Sirens, and you'll see me again for Tears of Divinity in a couple weeks after. But that's about all you got from me this month, so keep it real. I will see y'all later.
Incredibly glad and honored to have you around. Thanks for being here, Meg. Passing it over next to Ollie P. Senpai.
I'm Ollie P. Senpai, and I played Aurelia.
Wait a minute.
I played Aurelia, the outsider, the bitch. And what I got coming up is my bed. Yeah.
Mood. And I wish you wonderful sleep. But before we get to that, let's pass it back over to Corndog McGraw.
It's me, Corndog. You can find me on the internet at Corndog McGraw. tomorrow, I'll be over on Crits and Giggles channel for To Dragon Run. And on Monday, I'll be back here on Neon Lights with Oathsworn, which is also a dragon run.
So many
Okay,
dragons,
that's it.
So many dragons, not enough dungeons, but far, exactly just enough. Egg-chan.
Hey, hi, it's me, Emily or Egg-chan. I played 5s, the Soldier Playbook. No Knights of New Avalon this week, so I think next time I'm here is probably Yump City. You might see me at some point this month for some AA and HPI month shenanigans. We'll see. Keep your ears open for that. Yeah, that's all.
More to come for that very soon, I assure you. So keep your eyes locked on Neon Light Social. Speaking of which, folks, I'm Young Foxy, aka Big Foxy, also known as your favorite Fox Philly's finest. I'm all over the internet at Young Foxy. It's YUNG_FOXXII. But much more importantly than me, please keep your eyes locked right here at Neon Lights Roleplay. That's Neon Lights Roleplay on Blue Sky. Neon Lights RPlay on Twitter if you're looking for us there. And of course, Neon Lights Roleplay spelled out in full and with spaces on YouTube, where you can find all of our VODs, including this one in just about a week or so once we upload it, including our backlog of over 30 or so campaigns we've launched over our incredible couple of year career. Give me a couple shout outs again. One more time, just reminding you all that to keep an eye on what we do. Also, ensure to keep an eye on our Discord, where we draw people for our games, where we talk about all kinds of wonderful things, and where you can find all of our lovely, incredibly wholesome nerds hanging out, talking great things, and being just the best people in any time. It's been a great time. You'll see me here rocking it out with you all in just a few weeks' time. This has been great. You've all been incredible. We've been Jump City Sirens, and this has been Neon Lights Roleplay. Have yourselves the best night possible, and good